If you give your characters a choice between NPC 1 and NPC 2, they'll adopt NPC 3 every time. That means you've got to be ready to invent colorful, playable NPCs at the drop of a hat. But fear not, there are 4 steps that make it easy. First, roll up a name. Use a random name table or an online generator. Next, what's their funny hat? Give your NPC a distinctive trait to help them stay memorable. This might be a physical feature like a tattoo or a mannerism like constant whistling. Then, what's their baseline mood? Are they typically grumpy, cheery, sycophantic? Choosing their default mood will make them roleplay less like a stock character and more like a person with a rich inner life. Last, what do they want out of their interaction with the PCs? Are they trying to make a sale, find a friend, or just escape the conversation? Add random tables for each of these to your DM screen, and you'll never run out of colorful NPCs ever again. Active factions deepen your world building faster than anything else, so here's how to craft a TTRPG faction in a matter of moments. First, your new faction needs a name. Either use the situation to inspire you, or use an online generator. Second, what's the faction's purpose? If they could get everything they wanted, what would that look like? You'll use this to guide the faction's objectives as you play. Next, what does the faction want right now? Define their immediate goal. Make this as specific as you can. Then, describe the faction's general vibe. Are they sinister or altruistic? Are they secretive or an open forum? Understanding their overall demeanor will help you identify their usual tactics and strategies. Finally, your characters need a way to interact with the faction. Decide who their point of contact is and how contact can be made. Of course, there's tons more detail you can put into your factions, but this is enough to get them into the game. The only thing DMs have to improvise as often as NPCs are places. So let's talk about how to make settlements on the fly. First, your settlement needs a name. Pull inspiration from the environment or use an online generator. Second, how big is your settlement? Give it a rough scale by labeling it a city, town, village, or hamlet. Third, what's the general atmosphere? In a few words, describe the mood of your settlement. Is it bustling or beleaguered, homey or lonely? Fourth, create 3 points of interest. One should be practical, like a general store or a house of healing. Make the second a social hub. And the third is a landmark unique to this setting, like ruins or a monument. Last, who's in charge? You don't have to know the specific NPC, but do know the kind of ruling body that governs this place. There's a whole lot more to any settlement than just these 5 things, but these give you enough to get it on the table and let your characters expand it through their own exploration. How many times have your characters gone shopping for something random, sending you scrambling to invent a store that sells it? Let's fix that. Here's 5 steps for inventing shops on the fly. First, every store needs a name. I recommend using a trusty online generator. Next, who's working that day? Invent a proprietor who's staffing the store. Give them a name, a baseline mood, and 1 note of description. Third, what do they sell? You probably already know what your characters are looking for, but is that all the store sells, or do they stock other item categories as well? Then note the typical mood. Is the store airy or claustrophobic, dreary or bright? Most other descriptive details will flow naturally from the mood. Last, what's special about this place? Identify at least 1 unique feature. That could be an unusual decoration, strange architecture, or just something eye-catching on display. Use these 5 steps and you'll have everything you need to invent shops wherever your characters go. Sometimes the Monster Manual and other B series just don't have the creature you're imagining for your next adventure, but that's okay because you can make your own in 5 simple steps. Start by finding a stat block with the right challenge rating and the same number of resistances and immunities that you want. For example, if I wanted to make a lesser vampire spawn, I'd choose the ghoul stat block. Next, update the creature type as necessary and swap out the resistances and immunities for the ones you want. Third, add any relevant traits. Avoid traits that have damaging or healing effects, as these will change the creature's challenge rating. Fourth, modify the stat block's attacks to fit the flavor of your monster. Don't change the to hit bonuses or damage, but feel free to add any relevant effects. I'll swap out the paralyzing claws for life drain in our lesser vampire spawns stat block. Finally, name your creature. For example, I'll call mine a vampire thrall. Traps are a staple of TTRPG adventures, so here's a 5-step primer for making your own original traps. First, what's the purpose of your trap? Did the maker intend for it to damage, disable, or just deter? Knowing this will help you select an appropriate effect. Second, will it be a physical or magical trap? Choose one so that you better understand how yours works. Third, how often can your trap be triggered? Is it single use, self resetting, or does it just keep going? Fourth, is your trap hidden or concealed? Hidden traps can't be spotted unless you're actively looking for them. Concealed traps are more noticeable and might be seen by an observant character. Finally, how can a character disarm your trap? Half the fun of a good trap is figuring out how to beat it. Have some ideas on how the characters can defeat yours. Traps can be as simple or as complicated as you want, but these 5 steps are enough to whip up traps that are dynamic, dangerous, and fun. Magic items are a mainstay of many D&D campaigns, and while there are a ton of good ones in the DMG, sometimes you need something new. When that happens, follow these 5 steps to craft your own magic items fast. First, what is it that you want your item to do? Jot down a generalized description of what it does, like protects from magical attacks. Next, look for an existing spell that approximates what the item does and adjust as necessary. For example, the shield spell is a good parallel, but we'll say that for this item, it only works as a reaction to a magical attack. Then, decide how active your item is. Is the effect constant, limited use, or consumable? For ours, we'll say it can be used up to 3 times per day. Fourth, does it require attunement? If sharing the item between party members would make it more effective, or if its benefits stack, it needs attunement. For ours, it's limited use and only as a reaction, so no attunement required. Finally, give your item a name that fits its description. We'll call ours the Cloak of Spell Shielding. Spells are one of the things that makes D&D so much fun, but sometimes the spell you want doesn't yet exist. That's okay, because like Mordenkainen and Bigby, you can make your own with these 4 steps. First, decide what you want your spell to do. Does it impart a condition, deal damage, cause an effect, or all of the above? For example, we might want a spell that restrains the target and deals lightning damage if they try to escape. Next, look for a comparable spell that already exists, and note the spell level. This will be your spell's level. In our case, Ensnaring Strike and Entangle are pretty close, so we'll say ours is a first level spell. Third, flesh out the spell mechanics using spells of that level as a template. For ours, we'll say that as an action, the caster can cause one target within 90 feet to make a strength saving throw or be restrained. While restrained in this way, the target may use their action to make another saving throw to attempt to escape. Each time they do, they take 1d6 lightning damage. Last, give your spell a name. We'll call this one Lightning Lasso.